Yo, what's
We're
up,
back.
guys?
We're
All right, here
back.
we are. Here we are for shoulder tap. It's Gabe's first time doing this with me, so I think we might share the driver's seat here a little bit. Normally, it's Jack or Andre that are doing this, but I like fresh, change of scenery. And speaking of scenery, Gabe's got some great scenery in the background. Kind of matches your. I would imagine those are some blue light lenses you got on
They
those.
are. Yeah. They're my
Spectacles.
signature now. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, good to be on with you, Gabe. Here we are for
Likewise.
Shoulder Tap, where we're talking about the live traders. And Gabe, I can't help but think that background that you have makes me think a little bit about the trading card backgrounds that we use when we've got one of our live traders that we've been talking about. Typically, like one of the big swingers that they lose their account. We put the gravestone up in the background. It's kind of like yours is a little bit cooler, less eerie, but has that eerie
Yeah.
element to it. So. Fortunately, we don't
I'm
have
with
any
it.
gravestones today, so we'll have a little bit of fun just chatting about a couple traders that I wanted to highlight today. We've only got two that I'm highlighting today. Before we get to those guys, though, I want to talk a little bit about some of our live traders from last week and some of the really nice weeks that they had as far as P&L goes. We're going to talk about Raphael here on the second card that I come up with, but he had a $21,000 winning week last week in his live account. I think this is Raphael S. I know he's been around on the leaderboard. I've talked about him in trading cards before. Definitely someone who can, take some money out of the markets, do a little damage, as I like to call it, but not damage to his account, damage to the markets as far as having a good eye and taking money out. A couple traders I won't speak about on a trading card today, but also big notable weeks from last week, Gabe. We had Pin up $18,000 last week in his live account. Eddie took
Nice.
10,000 out of his live account. We had Chi take $9,800 out last week. And then some nice winning days today so far this morning. We've got David in his live account up 9,900 trading the NASDAQ. I'm hoping that he locks in that winning day today. And then Garrett, we got up $5,400 or $4,400 this morning as well. So
Let's go.
so we had some big weeks last week. I know throughout the week last week, I was, talking with Jack about it. We were actually having a pretty good week. Friday was pretty rough, and I think it was that PPI number that caused the tables to turn a little bit on the positive action we saw. Monday through Thursday, the group of live accounts had actually had a negative week last week, which we never really like to see. But some of the people that trade bigger that had been contributing to the larger numbers, they got on the wrong side of that number Friday morning. I know Dakota was a big trader that we had who lost his account last week. So that accounted for at least 20,000 in losses, 21,000 from that wasn't the PPI number. That was Thursday because we talked about him on Shoulder Tap. We had him on for the interview. So just some big P&Ls on the downside that contributed to a net losing week for the live accounts. However, we did have a net addition to the people in the live accounts, the prop firm, all those traders that we call up to live. We had added, on a net basis, we added more traders to the live prop accounts than we had called down or closed the XFAs. So we always like to see that. That is, a good feel for the pulse. Speaking of those traders in XFA getting called up or potentially not getting called up, Gabe, you've seen Shane S. He's been someone who was at one point 2 on the leaderboard. I think dropped down to 4 and then might have dropped down to 7. He had that $130,000 winning day across 5
Jeez.
XFAs. This is 2 weeks ago now. Yeah, staggering. He made 26 grand in each
Crazy.
one of those accounts. I think everybody that watches regularly knows about him because I've been talking about the story. But
Yeah.
after that $130,000 winning day, found himself in a bit of a cold streak, 8 losing days to the tune of
Oof.
about what was the total? $104,000 in loss. Actually, it was more than that. I think it was $127,000 in losses of that 130 that he had made. So pretty
Wow.
much gave back everything. Very happy to report today that last I looked, he was up $8,500 across at least 4 of those 5 XFAs. So he's getting it back. Hopefully today's a confidence booster and he can, change the tide on that, once positive momentum that swung negative and kind of get back on the profitable train. So we'll be keeping a close eye on him. At one point, like I said, he was up 8,500 recently. He was up 9,500 at one point. So, being only $1,000 off your equity highs on the day or P&L highs on the day is not a bad thing, but we're going to need to see him lock in those profits. We don't want this to be one of those days where, I think we've all been there. We have, maybe one of our largest winning days as a trader, and then we give it back and not only turn a good winning day into hitting zero, but, often enough we see it where someone goes from big winning day, potentially one of their biggest winning days ever, and then they hit their daily loss limit in the end. Gabe, I always talk to traders about how, if you're having significant profits, it's pretty important to lock in at least half of your P&L highs for the day. So if you're up 10 grand, worst case scenario, if you keep trading, walk away up 5 grand. But that 50% mark is always a good rule of thumb. But as those profits become more and more significant, you certainly want to lock in a larger percentage of those. So, go up from 50, maybe think about locking in 2/3 at 66% or 3/4 at 75%. It's 12 o'clock here Central Time in Chicago, but it's 1 o'clock Eastern Time. So we got a lot of market participants on the East Coast wrapping up lunch. They've already walked away for about an hour. Now you've got, the people in the Midwest on the Central Time zone going away for lunch. So we'll start to see volume and participation decrease a little bit. So for those of you that are carrying, very good P&Ls towards the last few hours of the session, even more reason to lock in a larger percentage. So those are just kind of, my takes on, managing big winning days, but also wanted to share the story of Shane, who's, caught our eye over the last couple of weeks. With that, I think it's time to get into the cards that we had.
Let's do it.
Create. So if we could, I want to move in and talk about one of our live traders, Asanu. Asanu's in a live account. He's in 100K, trading out of Linwood, Washington. And I wanted to talk about him because, he's up $8,600 today. And very happy that he's having a nice winning day today, too, because it's still early for him in his account. All the metrics that I have here on the trade report reflect his first 6 days in the trading account. Whereas, today he's had a rough start. Average daily P&L, he's losing $1,000 a day trading on this account. Today turned that around, almost doubled his account balance today alone, which is really, really nice. And going back to the money management thing, I talked about if you hit significant profits in a day, locking those in, it's very important to consider doing the same thing on a weekly basis. So let me break that down. Gabe, and all the traders out there watching, it's only Monday. It's early in the day on Monday. We're, well through halfway through the session for today. If you are up $8,500 on a Monday, it's very good to start thinking about, well, hell, I got off to a great start this week. Let me make sure that as I continue looking for trade opportunities later on in the week, I'm thinking about adding to that 8,500. But more importantly, I got a really good head start, and it's my job not to blow that head start. I want to stay out in front of the pack. Even if other people are, having big winning days come, end of day today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you got to lock in a percentage of those big significant profits of the 8,500. So, I say it regularly. Everybody's here in the futures market to assume risk, to get rewards, and to make money. But goal number one has to be capital preservation. And 100%. I think that this is a really good call out for, a trader, the trader that we're featuring here too, because they'd already, like I said, today, they almost doubled their account balance. So there's someone who had already, kind of eroded the account pretty significantly. And then, big profits today, almost doubling that account balance and getting back to essentially where they started or close to it. is what I would like to call, kind of a second lease on life. It's like, hey, over the first 6 days, we had really big drawdowns to the tune of $1,000 a day. That's, that's about 6,000 in losses from their starting point. You finally got back to close to where you started. Now it's really time to buckle down and say, I can't be risking that much on a daily basis. I'll rattle off some of the statistics here, but I want to dive into those trade reports, this trade report, because, there is one day in particular, and you can kind of see that up here on the boards where the statistics is, that kind of an anomaly that really played a large role or contributed largely to, Asanu kind of getting cut in half early on in the account. And so with that, I'll get into it when I get there, but 33% winning days, not too stellar right there. So I'd like to see an improvement in the winning days. They have, an average winning day of $3,800, where their average losing day is $3,400, and this is on a 100K account. So they have a $2,000 daily loss limit. We haven't revised the loss limit. However, their average losing day is $1,400 greater than what's allowed for in this account size with the auto liquidation tool where it fires off. Again, I'll get to that. But the best winning day here is, a little bit lower than the worst losing day. Best day, 4,000. That's really good. They've had a couple nice winners here. Their first day in the account, $3,600 winning day. Second day in the account, $4,100 winning day. But that worst day, and I'll just get into it right now, worst day was $7,000 in losses. That happened last Thursday. We had the PPI Friday. Thursday was the CPI. And, Asanu is trading. He's taking an average of 5 trades per day, trading around, up to 10 lots. He had a 10 lot on when that number came out Thursday. And because of the volatility, that auto liquidator, incurred quite a bit of slippage to the tune of $5,000 of slippage past the $2,000 mark. So this is just another opportunity to say those auto liquidations, once that threshold is hit, it fires a market order, and it's only going to get filled at the best possible price allowed based off what the bid and offer is at that time. So 5,000 in slippage, which is, 2.5 times what's allowed for. They really got, caught good here, but it was a bad result.
Yeah.
So they got caught pretty poorly here. That is not something you want to be on the receiving end of. And it was certainly, detrimental to the account. Glad we're back. But I would like to, see some changes. We need to think about more awareness of the numbers. I can't say if, Asanu got caught off guard during that number on Thursday, or if they knew it was coming out and they still decided to, hold that 10 lot. Again, this is an example of slippage. We saw, a lot of slippage out of Dakota on that day. He had, quite a bit more slippage. He had 15 on during the number, and there was a $3,000 daily loss limit there, and he lost something like $21,000. So another even more massive example of slippage. Traders, be aware. And if you're sitting in an account that's got, $10,000, $20,000 in it, it's not worth risking it. I know a lot of traders like to play the gamble of, I'm going to hold a position into the economic releases. Hogue said it, JD said it, I've said it. My whole career, having risk exposure on going into economic releases, I am not ahead. I think some traders that don't have a sound strategy, that want to do a little bit of a gamble, they think, I might make some money. And, if I don't, there's that auto liquidator there. I just gave you 2 examples of massive slippage on the auto liquidator. It happens. And, over time, take it from people who have gotten kicked around, trading into economic releases. It is not worth it. Over time, odds are you're not going to be favorable, trading into those things. And it's pretty upsetting when I'll just come out and say it, piss away weeks of hard work and profits, taking a gamble. It doesn't make you a better trader. It makes you lucky. And if you don't get lucky, it's a big setback. And psychologically, it's pretty tough to come back from. So that's kind of, what I wanted to say on Asanu. But just another reminder, be aware of the economic releases. Even if you have a good account balance built up, it can really hurt you badly. I think he needs to also focus on, something I didn't mention, the per trade risk reward. He's at 1 to 2 on a per contract basis. From what we're seeing here, and I know last Thursday really, skewed the metrics here, but, only making $460 per contract per trade, where he's risking $1,050. That does not add up. And if you're only doing 36% winning trades, you've got a really steep uphill battle there. So some things for everybody listening to take into account, reflect on, and, think about it for themselves. Gabe, I kind of rattled off a lot there. I've been
all good
over
stuff.
caffeinated this morning. Is there anything you're seeing here on the trade report that you'd like to build upon or add here in regards to Asanu's trading?
Yeah, so I think a couple main key points to take out of this, from a learning perspective, no matter where you are in your journey with us here, I think that a lot of us tend to be in a hurry to make money. And I think that in a lot of cases that means sizing up, right? So, of course, everybody wants a dopamine rush, and news events are one of the best ways to get that. But if you're going to even take the possible risk of trading news like that, you got to size down. I mean, there's no way you go full at 10 lot into a news release like that. So, if you are going to even venture into the world of potentially having an order on or staying in a position, just be very conscious, not only to the time, as Mick was saying, but to the size that you're exposed to at that time. If you're going to trade it at all, obviously most of everybody you're going to see on Topstep TV are going to be, advising that you just stay out of positions, cancel any pending orders that you have, especially if you're looking to engage with stops, just because they are technically just triggers for market orders. So you want to be very conscious of the order types you're using, the size that you're using. But yeah, I mean, man, you hit the nail on the head with a lot of it. There's really not a whole lot else that I can say. I'm guilty of sizing up too quickly and looking to hit home runs. And I think that tends to do more harm than good for us, especially in the long term. Not a good habit to be building for sure.
Yeah, very well said, Gabe. I like what you said about scaling it down. That kind of goes to my last point that I have on the card here. Like after, getting, smacked around like he did last Thursday, scaling it down is, a very big thing. I know he didn't do it today and it worked out for him today. But those big losses tend to be, and they should be, somewhat of humbling moments for us as traders. So, when you get burned like that, it's definitely a good time to pump the brakes a little bit and slow yourself down. I know psychologically it's very easy to, first thing on your mind is like, how do I make that back? Well, if I have more leverage and the market goes my way, I'll make it back quicker. But that's a very slippery slope, and I've seen that do more harm than good over time. So, with that, Gabe, I say we move on to the next one. But
yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So I want to talk about another trader, Raphael, who everybody should be very familiar with. He's up $5,600 today. I don't know where he is on the live leaderboard, but I know he's on that live leaderboard. Big account balance, trimmed the account balance, but it still is, he still should be very high up there because that payout still registers of, what his total take is. We do payouts plus account balance, the trader's total take. Raphael built that account up to, what was his account balance high, Gabe? Do you remember? Looks like maybe 133 grand.
I think you might be right. Mine's loading. 133. Yep, was his account balance high.
133 grand. He goes and he takes an $80,000 payout. And right now he's, sitting without today's activity. And again, I said he's up 5,600. That puts his current account balance coming in today was 95,000. So even after that $80,000 payout, he is back up above the 6-figure mark account balance wise, which is pretty freaking cool. Largely attributing that to, I talked about two people that had rough Thursdays, Dakota and then Asanu, who I just mentioned. But Raphael was on the right side of Thursday's trading. He had a $35,000 winning day,
Solid.
almost $36,000 winning day on Thursday. But check that best day out on his trade report, Gabe. It wasn't even his best day that he had in this live account. And granted, he carried over quite a bit of funds, for from XFA to his live account. So he had a nice, juicy starting account balance. But I mean, some of his notable days, and I'm deviating from the trading card just because I'm looking at the trade report. Like, this guy has taken some big days out of the market, live markets in his live account. June 20th, 44,300. June 21st, 11,000. The 27th, he had a $6,300 winning day. July 2, right before the shortened hour sessions, on the 3rd and the 4th, he had a $28,000 winning day. And then July 11th, like I just mentioned, $35,673. Like, this guy is taking massive bites out of the market, trading the S&Ps and the NASDAQ. He is trading size. Two things I really, really like here. Number one, he's still got that. I think he's got a $3,000 daily loss limit still. I don't even think we expanded that. Despite the losing days being a little bit larger than 3,000, I'm attributing that to slippage, trading the 10s and 15 contracts that he's got on.
Yeah.
So this guy is able to take huge bites out of the market while still keeping that speed bump in place on his live account. Very low daily loss limit, considering what he can make on a daily basis and considering what account balance maintenance level he's keeping and maintaining. So really good stuff here. And I would also like to attribute this to the time he spends in his winning trades. He is not someone who's, doing a ton of round turns during the day, averaging 3 trades per day, and he's got big hold times. His average hold times on his winners are 4.5 hours.
Wow.
So this is someone who's super selective, and this is a recipe for success. Super selective. They've got a strategy that works. They have conviction. They don't have the most massive win rates on their trades. It's only 36, 37%. But the risk reward is greater than 1-to-1 there, where they're taking down $4,100 on their winning trades while only risking $2,700 on the winning trades. And they're letting these trades ride out. So I always talk about it. I think it's an important growth phase and a necessary growth phase to move from the short time frame. Yes, we see a lot of traders, or not, I shouldn't say a lot. We see some traders who have very high win rates on short durations. But I really think that for day traders, you're going to have the easiest time making money, finding a higher time frame conviction, and riding out a piece of the trend, catching a piece of the trend for the day. That's exactly what Raphael's doing. And, he's on the leaderboard because of it, along with his money management. So I was really excited to see him having a nice day today and get to share this card. I know I shared him recently, but, worthy again of bringing this up and letting everybody have, additional visibility into this. Wouldn't you say, Gabe?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give Raphael a shout out, man. That's not easy to see that much size moving around and floating, and to stay in a trade for 4 hours on average. I mean, to the amount of fluctuations you're going to see in that, unrealized P&L over the course of those trades, that would psych most people out of trades, and probably including myself and where I'm at in terms of my journey. So, that props to you, man, for being able to stick through those and stick to your process and plan regardless. It seems like over time, if maybe you can get his win rate up a tad, and develop some more consistency on his just the performance of maybe reducing those losses. I know some of those losses, like you said, were just due to slippage, like the 7,800, 5,000, 5,900. If he can manage to keep those a little bit closer to his actual daily loss, he's just going to even be in a better spot than he is now. And he's already, making some really big waves in his account. So, but 22 days completed so far in that live funded journey. in that account and doing well at preserving capital, which is by all means our first responsibility. So great work, man. I'm impressed for sure.
As am I. I think that's a good spot to end it. All good points you made there, Gabe. This was nice being on with you. I hope we do it more.
Yeah, nice change of pace, but appreciate you having me, Mick. Thanks for driving, taking a little bit of the jitters away from me. But
Well, you're driving
always
next
fun.
time.
Yeah, all right. I'll compromise. I'll drive next time for sure.
I look forward to it. I look forward to it. Hope everybody has a really great day today. And again, it's early in the week, so if you're up money, make sure you're protecting those profits while we try and add to those profits for the week. And if you're getting off to a slow start or a negative start, pump the brakes a little bit. Don't think about making that money back. Remember, profits are a byproduct of good trades, so seek out the good trades. Try not to trade your P&L. That's what the pros do, and that's what we want everybody striving for here.
Fantastic,
Hope everyone
Mick.
has a great day.
Thank you. Thank you. For everybody that's tuning in, just hang tight. We have group coaching coming up with JD and Robert up next. So we will be right back and take a short break.